All right, so we're live. I hope so. And we'll share this. I'll probably have to do that through my phone. So while I do that, oh no, my Batman fell. It's a pretty cool Batman. But he still has all his bat rings, so we're good to go. So I'm going to share this. While I do that, I'll just kind of run through everything that's going to happen. So I did a lot in terms of prepping for tonight because I'm pretty much going to start from scratch in a lot of ways. So I decided that part of what I didn't like about and that was a rough draft, so I mean there was always going to be another go at it. But oh my gosh, some people are crazy. I'm just going to laugh at them. People are crazy, man. They'll just argue their point even when they know it's stupid. All right, so sharing this, and so I'm going to redo it. This was always going to be a rough draft, but one of the issues I had with it was it wasn't big enough, right? So the continents were kind of smallish. So I have made them bigger. So hopefully that will overall make it a much nicer map. So yeah, and I also went and figured out the trees, which was the big hang up last time, as I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with the trees or what the specific thing I was trying to emulate was. So yeah. All right, Facebook is shared to. Then Twitter, I probably have to do that via this computer. Okay. Which just totally could have ended up being faster anyway, but. Okay. What? Oh, just play. Silly thing. What? I'll tell you. I wish there was a better way to get things started, and there might be. I'm just not super knowledgeable. Like, I don't have StreamYard downloaded and all that like a lot of people do. Because I tried it and I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, couldn't figure it out. And again, you know, if nobody watches, it is what it is. I'll just talk to myself. People can pop in and out. You know, it is what it is. Is what it is. I did not do a hashtag. Oh well. Okay. So let's get to it. Enough dilly-dallying. Hello, Noah. Yes, I remember you. How are things? Here is obviously the conundrum is you can't you can only print, the paper is only so big, so you can only print so much. And it does look like we will have enough room. I also have titles for things typed out because my handwriting is so bad that I have to do that. You're a supervisor at a casino in California. That is really cool. One of my wife's uncles was like the guy that like makes sure that people aren't cheating. Yeah. Make sure that people aren't cheating, which I guess, and it was in Las Vegas, which I guess would get intense at times, as one can imagine. Checking in with one of your favorites. Well, I greatly appreciate that, because everyone always would say that their favorite was Miss Brownstead. And I was like, I took personal offense to that. I mean, she's awesome, don't get me wrong, but everybody wants to be the best. Okay. Some people might think it's cheating, but when you're dealing with maps, it's good to trace things because you want things to be the same, right? If you're changing things on maps a lot, then people are going to get confused. They're like, wait, I thought this was shaped like this, and I guess it isn't anymore. So with maps, when you're going through the different rough drafts and such, it's best to maintain a consistent shape within reason. Sometimes, it just happens where you aren't going to do that just because, but, you want to try as hard as you can to keep things consistent. It's also really hard to make sure that everything is like not crooked. That's very important as well. That's both with taking the picture and lining it up and everything. Hopefully I can like zoom in with this. Something I know I can do is if I pull up my camera software, I should be able to zoom in on stuff. In theory, I believe I had it work that way last time. But yeah, working at a casino, I'm sure that is pretty eventful, but I do remember you. You had long hair, if I remember correctly. Okay, well, maybe I can't. We detect your cameras being used by Firefox. Try closing Firefox and then restart it. Oh, well, forget it. Because I'm not going to restart this. Okay. Do I take donations? Yes, I don't know if I have that set up on YouTube, but my website does take donations, which is, I'll type that in right now. .com. So if you scroll down, you will see that there's a donation page. Or if you want to get something back for your money, you can always buy a book. I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign for charity right now. So if you want a book that has some art in it and it has less reading, I have that too. So I will send the Indiegogo link as well for that. So either of those are really awesome, and I certainly appreciate that. Unfortunately, I'm not teaching at Boone anymore. I had to move to Ohio for my wife's job. But yeah, I'm going to try to bring the computer closer. It's a little hard because I'm left-handed, but where there's a will, there's a way, I suppose. This might not end up working, but I will try my best. Because again, I'm left-handed. I did try last week moving it to the right, and that just I do have a tripod for the camera, but I think it's still in a moving box. I'm gonna see if I can't move some things around so that people can actually see what I'm doing. That might work better. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't try this last week. It's still not. Again, being left-handed really makes this a pain in the butt. But, you know, eventually I will get to an area where I don't need the light box. And so, yeah, I'm actually trying, I ended up deciding on this draft to try a type of mountain range for map illustration that is different than what I normally do. So hopefully it looks nice, because I want the Falnor map to look different than the Foster map, especially since Falnor is on that map, but it's, you know, not it's not very big. So hoping to get more detail on this. And, you know, like I said before starting, this is indeed a rough draft still. I still need to figure out what works and what doesn't work, but I'm really hoping that this is the last final draft. So what I'll do, or sorry, not the last final draft, the final rough draft. So what I'll do once this is done, if I like it, is I won't have to go out and like take pictures of this one and then print, you know, copies. I'll just rip this out of the notebook and, you know, trace this map. Because the one negative to this type of paper is like, once your pencil makes the mark, you really, really cannot erase it. My connection is unstable. Well, there is a way that I could strengthen the connection. Let me see. See if this works. Is there even a port for that? Yes. Of course, everything has to fall apart in order for that to happen. Well, never mind, that's not even a port for it. I don't have an Ethernet port. Okay, good to know, good to know. I don't know if the connection is working right now. It says we have someone in the audience, so I'm going to assume that it's somewhat working. I guess time will tell if, you know, anybody's watching. What is the... Okay. Now, I do have quite a bit of freedom with this because there was such a little detail on it before doing this map. So there is freedom there. Okay. Good to know, good to know. So we are actually live. Yeah, so I've been kind of busy since I was your teacher. So what I'm doing now is I am a success coach and testing specialist at a university in Ohio. I would love to still be go back to being a high school teacher. Because that's kind of my passion outside of writing these books. But where I live right now is a very small town. And so to get a job in the public school system, you kind of have to have an in. And that's really hard when you just moved here. So again, I would love to get back into the school system, but it's not really up to me. But that being said, I do teach at the college a little bit. I teach one class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it's not a history class, unfortunately, but it's okay. It's a class on success strategies. And you know what? At this point, I'll take just about anything they give me. Because I like being a teacher. I like the theater of it, even though I'm a really shy person. I like being funny. I like making things enjoyable, having my exercising my dry sense of humor. I like doing those things, so I definitely miss it. I think I had you only for English, though. I don't know if I ever had you for social studies. If I did, maybe psychology. It definitely wouldn't have been history because when I got there, you were not a freshman. Oh my goodness, I can't remember what that looks like. Let's see. Cheat a little. Okay, I see. So this is wrong. We need to erase that. Fortunately, there's a space on the page that simply does not print because it's impossible. Yeah, when I taught, there was a few times I was not probably thinking enough and overexpressed myself. It's amazing that I didn't get in more trouble. So it was social studies. Okay, yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. For some reason, I definitely remember your face, but for some reason I picture you in my English class for some reason. I don't know why I'm doing that. I have a cheat sheet over here. It's just really big. Okay, except it doesn't have the rivers on it, which is what I need. Never mind. Come on, piece of paper. I believe in you. Let's see. Okay, I see. I just needed to make sure it wasn't forming a lake of some kind. All right. Right, yes. Okay, so what we've outlined here is well, it's not a continent. the island of Herne, which is kind of the villainous island, like the island where all the villains in the stories are. So that's what I've just traced over. Oops. Now we're going to go to the left. To the main section where the story is taking place, which is called Falnor. Where do I come up with these names? Just my brain. Can't explain it. Sometimes I try to keep cultures in the same realm. So like I have a culture that is primarily Viking inspired. So like their cities and countries will always be somehow inspired from Viking language, usually Norse. Okay, try to get you guys in a little closer. Again, I tried to zoom in, but it was like, no, we will not let you do such a thing. But yeah, so this is Falnor. I mean, if I was to go over the topography of Falnor, I would say it is essentially the same general landscape aesthetic that you would see in Scotland, the Highlands. Right, so a lot of crags. I feel like crags is one of those geographical features, right, that is extremely vague and varying in what it looks like, which can make it confusing to understand. Like from a writer's perspective, you're trying to like describe scenery, and if I say mountain, well, I mean, you're going to know what a mountain looks like, generally speaking. But if I say a crag, you're going to be like, okay, so a mountain? And that's not really what mine look like. I feel like the light is going out here. They're more like the Scottish Highlands. So like, I do refer to them as the Highlands in the story, obviously. But yeah, I also use the term crag. I really hope I didn't mess up at all here. Okay. Now I guess I should probably do these islands up here while I have the light box there. And also the rivers. The landmass shapes and the rivers are really things that you want to keep, and lakes are things you want to keep consistent. Because if they look different and the different occasions in which you draw the map, people will notice. Definitely. Keep saying that we have 3, then 2, then 1 viewer, then 3. So, but then again, last time I did a live stream, it said that I had 0, but there were like 3 people commenting in the section. So it's hard to know for sure exactly if it's telling the truth. Now, one of the benefits of this map is that, again, I have not drawn Falnor in such detail. So that really helps me. I'm going to have to probably do a lot of these islands not tracing because I'm having a really hard time seeing it. So what I'm going to do is I'll have to look at the map that I drew last time and imitate them. Which again, I've never drawn these before. So, you know, people won't really know, oh, well, what happened there? It's not consistent with what you've done in the past. Oh my. Paper moved. Yeah, I love that. I wish I had more artistic skill. But yeah. I'm glad you're doing well, Noah. Good to know. I have been talking to another Noah lately on Messenger. But I think he said he worked at a bank or something similar to that. And I know that I had him in psychology, but not as a teacher, as a substitute. Oh, yes. Yes. Now, I was picturing a different Noah. Yes, I remember now. I remember that you were quite tall. There was a lot of Noahs that I had. My little brother's name is Noah. Yeah, you always seemed like you had your act together. Which is not something that everybody has. Certainly. All right, I'm gonna have to adjust again because we can't have. I'm gonna have to adjust on multiple ways. Hopefully, we can do this in a way that will fit. Okay. That should do it. Yeah, you're a long way from Kentucky. Long way from Kentucky. Okay. It's going to be a tight fit. Maybe too tight. Might have to cut a little more off. That's okay. We have the room. We have the technology. It works out. And, you know, it's not my favorite part of the map drawing process, but it is a very important part. Some might say essential, because it is essential. Okay, here we go. We're back in business. I got the sizing like just right where it will fit. Just barely. In fact, I will have to move it just a little bit because where you rip the paper off will be cut off. Okay. That's the main outline of the continents. And get the rivers in their general shape. Most I realized I did have a lot of Noahs as students. Ah. Another reason the left-handedness is a pain in the butt with this is the button is on the left. Just another annoyance. Okay. Lastly, we have this lake. Okay. Well, I'm glad that's done because that's honestly a really difficult part. Trying to find my phone, check and see. If I can remember. Okay. Okay, yeah, I was thinking of the right Noah. Okay. I was thinking of the right one. Good deal. I don't feel as bad. A lot of me and my college friends are all sharing pictures of our babies because our 5-year homecoming anniversary is coming up. So we're all so old now. By old, I mean in our late 20s. So not that old. You know what? I'm not going to do that. Well, no, I will. Because I did something cool with that last time. Okay. Glad I'm done with that. It's always my least favorite part. You don't really know what the heck you're doing. Okay. Time to assess things. And look at this previous version, which I need to. I do need to rip it out, which is good practice for when I have to rip out the actual map. Okay. Now I have this as a reference to use on this. Okay. Yeah, this is so much bigger. That's what she said. It's okay. Okay, let's look at these islands that I need to reassess and redo. Yeah, so they look much cooler on this version. And I might, the sizes won't line up, but the shapes will. Might try to lightbox this too. I'm definitely gonna have to lightbox the lettering for the title, but I'm going to save that for like last. And I might not even do it on this version of the map because I don't want to. Okay, so let's try to shape these better. Try to get these to look more menacing. Menacing landscapes are always better. These islands kind of make a like a jack-o'-lantern face a little bit. This is easier though, because when you take a picture of a map and then you make it way bigger, you know, it really spaces things out, makes it blurry. So it's impossible to see sometimes. All right, well, we got that figured out, although it does end up being a lot further from the coast, which isn't necessarily what I want. Which I do have a way to maybe fix that. Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah, left-handedness strikes me. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. I will probably need this light box again, but I'm going to use this over here. Okay, I'm going to take a look at this. That looks pretty good. So over here, I have the things I'm using for mountains and such. But again, I'm trying to branch out and do things that I don't normally do, like techniques for things I don't normally use. So I'm hoping to expand my horizons a little bit, hopefully. Well, it looks like I made a lake where there wasn't one. But you know what? I like it. I'm going to keep it. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it where it is. So that's what I do here on this here land. Looks like I got that river a little wrong. Gotta fix a few things. Really got to get it right on the final draft because there really is no erasing on that. It's kind of like a do or die situation. Let's see. These are all a lot more harsh. When I do the final, it will be in pen. So there's definitely no fixing that. It looks like I completely missed one river because it wasn't necessarily present. This is like a trident. All right. So we have the rivers. We have the land masses. There is an island about right here. It's kind of shaped like that, but we can tweak it. Yeah, that works for me. And then the others I might not include. I'm thinking the compass might go around here. Titling will be down here. And I know that that will take about this much of the page because I did do that before, and that will be remaining the same. There is a bit of land up here that I might just illustrate a little. And that is everything. I might, let's see, where does this end up going? I have my continent map here. Looks like it's kind of a smaller island, thinner. So let's just take it like that. It looks kind of like it could be a part of that island there. I think this looks good. I think this is a good place to branch off from. It's my Dave Ramsey budget form. I don't know why that's there. So this is kind of what I'm going for with the forests. I like that. But I'm not probably going to get to that tonight. I think I'm going to save that for next time. And so this time I'm going to work on getting like the towns on this map. Of course, there's always like the question of, should I do that, because then I would be doing it 3 times. The question is, where are the maps, or the mountains? Oh, there they are. Let's try to do the mountains. Let's try to do that. I do want to do the names of the cities and stuff, but that might be for another day as well. It depends on how long I can go with this. Okay, let's look at our mountain ranges here and try to get a semblance of idea what exactly I'm getting myself into here. Because another thing is we really want the mountains to look the same, like the same style. So if I'm doing this, I need it to look right. So I don't know if I actually need the light box, or if that would actually present a problem, because I need to be able to do the same thing over and over again. So Falnor doesn't have any mountain ranges, but Hern does. However, Falnor has hills, but I have hills that I can trace off of the other one. And they did an interesting thing with the lakes that I'll probably do, where it's like straight lines. So I'm going to try a lot of things on this for sure. Make sure my wife's not trying to get a hold of me. Okay. Yeah, so they do straight lines on that, so I'm going to try that. I'm really trying to make this feel unique. Okay, so we have mountains here and here. Okay, so we can do one of these right here. Okay. I'm nervous, but I believe in myself. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness. Maybe I should practice first. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, I guess. I get the general premise. I'm just really nervous it's going to look terrible. And then I'm just going to end up going back to what I always do with the mountains. Well, let's give it a shot. Yeah, see, like this just doesn't feel like it's going right. Like it's hard because it's a thin area. How do they do that? Is it like... Yeah, okay. Maybe. So then we do something like that again over here. All right, I guess we can try to make some sense out of that, maybe. Oh my. Yeah, it's not looking too good. Yeah, don't know how they do this. It looks kind of terrible. Yeah, I might just end up going with what I normally do, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, I don't know. That looks pretty horrible. It's just really hard to do at an angle. No. Let's see if this looks good. Again. This feels really awkward. This kind of critique I heard about this style is that it's like either it's going to look really good or like it's going to look really bad. And I think I just don't necessarily get it. I don't know. That looks pretty terrible, for sure. Which is kind of a bummer. I was really hoping that I could get that to look good. I'll try the light box and we'll see if I can figure it out. I realize that I am not talking to myself. If I'm being honest, if anybody actually takes the time to watch this, this campaign is really beating me up. You know? It's just really hard to get people to care. Like, I don't know. I've had some tough moments where I kind of have to get myself back into the game, so to speak, because this wasn't doing too well. A lot of things going on, you know, life stuff. I honestly thought, you know, oh, this is for a charity, like, people are going to give a care. This is going to reveal just how dumb I can be, but you know, I legitimately thought we were going to get like $10,000. You know? Like I really believed that. And well, that certainly didn't happen. Or doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know? I really do not understand this type of mountain. It is an enigma. How do you do that? I can give it another shot, but this is really just frustrating. How do you do that? I suppose this doesn't look too bad. But at the same time, it really looks bad. Because I don't know what I'm doing. And I really just don't get it. It just looks really bad. It looks like I'm trying to do it and it's just not working. So, shoot, I really just don't know what to do about that. Because it's like I don't want to do my normal style. It's like, do I try it again? Do I just keep trying? So we tell our kids, right? Don't give up. The thing about being a writer is that you are alone. You know, there's not really anybody that can do it with you. Not really. And in my experience, not too many people really care enough to do so. Oh my gosh. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. Thank goodness there aren't a whole lot of mountains on this thing, because my Lanta. Absolute mess. So the problem here is a lot of the mountain ranges on this are going in another way. Like in another direction. So then you flip it, but it's like, can't really see what's going on. Maybe if I just, I don't know, I'm gonna keep trying, I think. It's not easy. It takes some skill for sure. It's just so, this does not feel right. to me. Feels like a mess. I'm gonna try just doing it my own way, like trying to not trace it. One more time. Okay. Let's see if this goes anywhere, because I'm like super confused on what exactly, how you get it to look like this. I think that kind of worked. Possibly. Kinda. Kind of get an idea of what I'm going for. I'm gonna try to get a little bit of a clearer path on what this is. Because once I do this on here, I am totally just tracing it on the other. That looks terrible. Terrible. I think that looks good. We'll see. We'll see. I just have to do it the other way. Like right to left, which is a real challenge for me as a lefty. First I need to fix this. Again, I think that looks good. But I've been wrong before. Let's see if this one works. Dare I say this might look good? Dare I say it? Dare I? Got an order. From Anthony. Oh wow, you got both books. Okay. Well, I will definitely get those out to him pronto. Looks like he might have followed us on Instagram too. But I might have already been following him somehow. They're already planning a sequel for the next Batman movie, which obviously makes me excited. I have to change the river a little bit. Just so that it's not confused with mountain range. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. Shading will make it look even better, I think. We will see. Let's see, how do they do shading? Looks like it's all on one side, which for me needs to be this side. Because I'm left-handed, kind of just what has to be done. Even though most of these mountains won't be shaded then. Of course, I don't have to listen to their shading strategies. I can still do it like my way, I guess. But it wouldn't really make maybe as much sense. But then I think it's on an individual basis, really, on whether or not something is shaded. Personally, I think it really depends on what you're going for. Like this mountain, I feel should have some shading on it. For the pen, that might be kind of confusing, though. Yeah, the shading is not easy to determine what needs shading. It'd be easier if I was right-handed because most of the mountains face right. Again, with the pen, I'm not sure how that will work. It'll definitely be harder. I have to be very careful. Well, that's the mountain range. I'll have to, right now that looks really good to me. But it might not in 24 hours. Might look terrible in 24 hours. You never know. Now with this one, I could legit not do that because it's too big. Thought I could, but I can't. Well, I can take part of it, maybe. No. When I say this is hard, I really mean it. It is not easy. I do need to do a mountain here. The tower so that I know that's where the dwarven thing will go. And a branch. It will go like this. Don't know if that'll work, but I have to try. It probably won't. All right, well, let's see how well I can do here. Because again, for the millionth time, this is not easy. Not by a long shot. We have the basics here. Something I didn't do with the other ones. Kind of creating the main mountains. House one is vertical because they already look kind of sharp. You always want a mountain to look kind of sharp. I don't think there's any way to do it here. It just doesn't work. This type of mountain drawing. See what I mean? On the east side of the river here. I don't think there's any way to do this style of mountain there. It just doesn't. There is, I don't know it. At least not in a way that looks good. I mean, this doesn't look good. Yeah. You try, but you can't. You can't do it. Lady love. Shading is definitely more inconsistent with the style. Because it's kind of impossible not to be. Don't know how well that'll translate to the pen. The pencil, yeah, I mean, that's fine. But when you're dealing with a pen, it's more absolute. That makes sense. There's no pressing harder to get a darker look. Or, I mean, I'm sure there's a way, but I'm not talented enough to do it. Pencil? Sure. Pen? No, I don't know. Probably. Even then, I'm struggling with this type of map, like what the mountain shading is. I can go through and clearly do some of the lines. Nice thing about pens is you don't have to go over your pencil marks because it's a pen. Make this mountain look cool. Yeah, that's much better. We'll make our dwarven mountain look cooler too. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's even better. Part of me is tempted to do shading on the right. Be really hard for a lefty, but it's possible. It's not impossible. For sure. Yeah. I'll turn on the main lights. So we can have a better look at things. This will help me get a better understanding of what I'm looking at here. Yeah, no, I'd say that looks pretty good, actually. Those are the main mountains that we have. Thank goodness that Falnor does not have any mountains. That was hard, for sure. It was not easy, but it looks good. Make no mistake there. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to line the lakes and do some of the like city structures, but not like the human cities and orc cities. The human and orc cities take a healthy chunk of time. But like the elven cities I'm going to do, and the lake outlining. After that, I'm going to call it a night and do the rest hopefully tomorrow. That would be my hope. We'll see if I'm live tomorrow. I might do that on my own time because nobody watched tonight. So not that I blame people. I'm sure peeps have better things to do on their Saturday night than watch me draw things. But you know what? It's here. People want it. And that's the point. That's the point. You crazy man. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this thing. This will not take very long. So I really hope I can get to do this tomorrow. We'll see. Is that an ant? No. Eraser ant. Of course. Of course. Yes. Yes. Okay. We have our crystal lined up. This is what I have signifying. Oh, wait. That's a dwarven. That's not where we want it. That's what I have symbolizing a grey elf civilization. So this is a city of grey elves. And the thing about Herne specifically is a lot of grey elves fled there during the Narrow Empire. And we have another one over here. Now these grey elves are a tad bit different though. They are not quite as hostile as their Fostra mainland compatriots. Although they are still quite dangerous. And the reason that they're not as hostile is they were actually the first to abandon Neris, who was the mother of Grails. The mother. She was evil. If you read Saga 1, you know that. You know that she's evil. Looks like we got somebody watching. There's a person that just came in. Look at these mountains. Mountains, Gandalf. Mountains. I don't want to retire somewhere where I can read my book. So I tried to do mountain style. And I think I've had reasonable results, at least. I'm trying to get to where you can see this chunk. This paper is not kind to me. So it's quite different. And I can't really do it justice right now. But at the end, which will be soon, I will show you what it looks like with like the full lights on. And that should help us, even me, be able to see it. But first I'll have to draw a couple trees. Not the forest, mind you, but some elven cities. I have to be able to articulate on the map where the elves live on this map. So obviously it'll be in the middle of a forest. So you want to be able to communicate, yes, they're elves, so they live in trees, but this is a different looking tree. I don't like the way that tree looks. Of course, this map just does a box, but I want to be better than that. We must be better. Because we have plenty of competitors. Plenty. Part of me wants to do a giant mushroom as the elf city. Which brother? I'm assuming Nathan. But it could be Blaine, you never know. I certainly don't think it's Noah. It is big paper though, but that's because I'm not an artist, so I have to do it big because then my mistakes aren't so obvious. Well, how you doing, Nathan? I appreciate you dropping by. I've been trying some new stuff. Trying to make my maps look better, or at least, at the very least, different than what I've done in the past. Oh, I suppose a tree should have a trunk. That's important. Last time I put, yeah, they are. But I'm always trying to improve. Always trying to be better. And Falnor, although still part of the same universe, has more of a gritty north vibe, like Winterfell, Scotland kind of vibe to it. So I'm trying to make the map kind of reflect that a little bit. So like the forests are going to look completely different. The forests are going to be modeled kind of off of what this person did. Because it's also really zoomed up. Right, and this is a very specific small set of islands, so we can get more detail on it. So that's the hope, is that I can get more specific, because with that kind of forest, you can show where the forest is more dense. And I just wanted to do something different. I added a mushroom to signify that it's an elf settlement. Because people like mushrooms. Although mushrooms are a really good idea for a gnome civilization. So we can have the gnomes live with them, and we'll do a big mushroom somewhere on here. Let's make it over here. Because there's not a whole lot going on over here. And you know what? Gnomes are a really interesting species, in my books at least. So we have a city that's going to go here, and a tower that's going to go here. But we could have some gnomes down here. Mushrooms are easy to draw. And as I say that, I screw up the stem. Too fat. You're too fat. I could probably make that bigger. That's what he said. Oh my goodness, I hate that part of Skyrim. I know that it's unique and everything, but that was always my least favorite part of the game. It always kicked my butt. Except now, because like I know what it is. But I still like just rush through it because I just don't like the Falmer. They are the worst. They really are. They're like way overpowered. Oh, the little mushroom there. All right, so we have our elf and gnome cities. So what we're going to do next is we're going to line the lakes. By the way, here's the rough draft on this map. So you can see what the lettering is going to look like. It says Glacier Pass, Falnor and Hearn. And then you can see my attempt at doing this kind of forest. And then I decided that the map was too small. So I made it bigger. And so now, and I researched what I wanted to do with the trees a little bit more and found examples to look at. But like this, that's going to stay because I think I did a good job. So like the cities will stay. So obviously you can see before I was using my old style of mountains. Right. Which reminds me, I did mean to do the Dwarven settlement. I did mean to keep that the same. So I guess I need to trace one more bit. This is my work office, by the way, because there's no children sleeping. There's a Rocky Balboa poster up here, but all the words are backwards. But yeah, I come here to work on the map for multiple reasons. One of which is the desk is huge, and this paper requires a huge space. And unlike last time, I really don't feel like drawing it while being on the floor again. Where's my pencil? That was truly terrible. Hated it. Glad you like the buildings. I've put quite a bit of effort into it. Went and found buildings that I thought looked cool. But yeah, the Falmer are really creepy, which is what I've ended up well, I made my lifts before I knew what Falmer were, but they do look similar. This isn't as good as what I did on the first one. But again, this isn't the final draft. So it's not the end of the world. It really did. There is actually, like, people can go back and watch me do that. It's like sped up, but that is actually in my older videos, is video of me working on that map. And it really did hurt my back. But I guess I'm not doing the tower. At least trace-wise. I will do it by hand. Because it's really not that hard to do it. All right. Now we're going to line the lakes. Another effort of mine to make things different. And it also makes the lakes stand out. And the reason that's useful is sometimes rivers are close together in a way that it makes it look like that might be a lake, but then it isn't. So people get confused. So the idea is we're going to draw lines on our lake. And they don't necessarily have to be all equally, equidistant. But they do need to be relatively similar. No, because people are going to be able to notice if it's cattywampus. Yeah, it's like sped up with some music that got copyrighted on it. Naturally. Because that's how YouTube works. See, this is probably not something I would do on a map that has a lot of lakes. Yes, I think it was a Switchfoot song first time. And then the other time, I just had music playing in the background. I think it was Lord of the Rings music. Then one time, I was like editing the video together and I put free music in the background. And deleted the natural audio. Naturally, because I was speeding it up. Oh, that looks interesting, I guess. You can see, possibly, that there are lines now. But it's, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. With maps, it's really the small details that add up to look great. Each of the little details doesn't necessarily need to look fantabulous. Because it's the combination of all the little details. Now that was actually pretty good. But this is the biggest lake. So hopefully it goes well. Being a left-handed person has its negatives in terms of doing this with a camera, because there's no room over here. There's no room to move over there. And so, oh my, that's terrible. And so people get to look at my hand. Mom did always say I should be a hand model. I think I need to restart that one, maybe. Which makes me nervous because, like, when you're doing it with pen, there is no starting it. Unless you want to start all over. Let's start from the top. See if that helps. Probably would have been a better idea from the beginning to do it that way. But alas, hindsight is 2020. This book's going to have all the great art of the artist that's doing it, and then it's going to have my map. And you're going to be like, what? Of course, if I don't end up liking this line thing, I will just do what I did last time, in that I'll just double edge it. The point is that the lakes will be identified. So people will know what the lakes are. Not just where rivers are close together. I think the only thing wrong with this right here is each lake has like a different thickness between lines. But that also has to do, correlates with the size of the lake to a certain degree. The bigger one has the most spaced out. Okay, one lake left. Okay, the lakes have been lined. There's only 4 of them. It's not too much. Oy. We got a lot done today. I'm hoping to do this again tomorrow. But I will turn the main lights on so we can look at it better. Okay, let's have a look. So you can see, maybe, if it focuses, see the lake and little mushroom from Gnome City. Some of the mountains that we did. So you can see that's a very different style. I've been working on this map maybe a total of 6 hours. Not all in one sitting, obviously. I'm hoping it focuses. I'm trying to get it to focus. Come on, camera. I believe in you. There we go. So we get some mountains here. You can see the Dwarven Kingdom, which I didn't shade yet. So this was a brand new style of mountains that I tried. And there's another lake lining where the Elven City is. More mountains. So when we started today, this was a blank sheet of paper. And now we have what I would consider to be the hardest part is the mountains done. Because I can do the cities. I mean, it's tedious, but I can do it. So this is, sorry, look at my crotch there. This is the old rough draft. So you can see the lettering. This will be probably colored in. So tomorrow we will be adding the pyramid burial sites, the cities, capital of Truve, where most of Emerald Knights takes place, some of the farm cities, the mountains and hills, or crags, highlands, if you will, and this tower, which I do have the name of. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. And then this was my attempt at the new style of forest, but it's not going to look anything like that. So I kind of like had to figure out what I was going to do. Then we have Herne over here, capital city of Gargorgoth. We have hot spas. It's very volcanic, even though it's very far to the north. So these are the mountains that they were going to look like. So we can see the comparison here. Both look nice, but I kind of wanted to try this style. And I think it's going to pay off pretty well. I still don't know the challenge I'm going to face doing this with pen, but we'll see. So another big difference here, and the reason why I redid this was because the main lands are much bigger now. So now things won't look so crowded. I think this here is where it's the most developed. And it looks pretty nice. Still couldn't figure out how to do the mountains down here. But you got to make sacrifices. If you rewound, you could see I got very frustrated with the mountains. It took me a long time to do this. I'm really hoping that the shading with pens goes well. The pen shading. Come on, come on. Okay. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, so that is today's map drawing. Still thinking about a compass, what I want to do with that. So if there's any compasses that you like, maybe send them my way. I do have a squid infused compass that I might do. But there is the concern of possibly, I might have a hard time making it unique. I don't want to steal somebody else's art. So it's a trade-off. There's a little bit of a risk. You don't want to steal stuff. That's not good, because you can get in trouble. There might be a way to purchase it so that I could trace it, because I don't think I possess the skill to make it unique enough and still look like an octopus thing. But that is tonight's stream. Hopefully I can do this tomorrow and get really the rest of this rough draft done. The main challenge tomorrow will be the forests, because I've already got the castles pretty well figured out. So the forests will be the main challenge. The rest I'm not too nervous about. I'm not going to really put the lettering on it on this draft, because I'm just going to use this first draft on the final draft, copying it. But I'm thinking, I don't think there's going to be a way for me to do straight to pen. Like on the final draft, I'm going to need to still do pencil, because when you're doing this, you end up redoing like lines like this, which just look kind of bad. So, but the trouble is with this paper, you can't really do that because it leaves an indent. So I don't know. Something I might do tomorrow as well is go in and make the border lines jagged instead of wavy, because that generally wavy doesn't look too good. But that is the plan for tomorrow. Have a good night. I myself am going to go to bed as well. Peace out. Buenas noches, señor. Yeah, there might be pencils that don't do that. I'm just using a mechanical pencil because but you're right. I actually know that there are pencils that do that. I should get those. Anyway, good night. Thanks for dropping in. Hopefully tomorrow I will be here doing this. Adios.